Welcome into your high school prediction segment right here on Fox 44. Of course, I'm joined every week with Todd Black from ESPN Radio. Thanks for joining us. And really the game that I'm looking forward to is our football Friday night game of the week. You've got McKinley hosting Catholic, a McKinley Panthers team, a lot of firepower on offense. And look, I think a lot of Catholic High's defense, but they certainly have their work cut out for them.
They really do. It's going to be a tough challenge for Coach Hilton. Like you said, the defense is going to be key.
Which one you going there?
Catholic. Ken, love you. Catholic.
It sounds like a close one, though, right?
It's going to be close, and I'll give you an old cliche. Or Ken, we used to talk about everybody doing their own job. So Ken Hilton says, I always ask my kids on defense to mow their own grass. So he's got to mow their own grass, but the point is do your job. Don't try to do your teammate's job. And that's you say anything to try to get those kids to understand what you're trying to get at, and that's what he wants them to do, mow their own grass.
We're already looking ahead to the playoffs, right? You're already, look at this big stack of papers you got right here. The power rankings, the power ratings. That's what you're going to hear for the next few weeks, right?
Next 3 weeks, coaches will be doing a lot of math, dividing, adding, who plays who's
getting
won
the abacus out.
But yeah, it's interesting. We have some teams here in town that are going to be right there on that bubble.
The one that kind of sticks out to me, Dutchtown at home versus Santa Ma. This is a big one for Dutchtown, right?
It really is, because they are number 25 in the power seedings, and they also have Catholic to come up here in the next couple of weeks. But Santa Ma is going to be a tough challenge for them. They hung tight with EA last week, but Santa Ma is coming off that big win against Catholic. So the question for Coach Oliver's team is there going to be a letdown? Coach Mastretta's team is going to battle, but are they going to have the firepower to be able to hang with Santa Ma? As Coach Oliver said on our show last week, you have to stop, and most teams have stopped Cade Nelson. That's their big running back. Everything goes through Cade Nelson. And so I'm sure Dutchtown's going to try to do the same. So that now what's going to happen after that?
Let's move on now to Southern Lab. You really see this as a pivotal week there for the Kittens, taking on Ascension Catholic. A big week because really Southern Lab, it's been an up and down season. What do you see here? So
they were going to be through their probation. It was going to be 2 years. The LHSAA cut it to 1, and that is this year. So how can they measure themselves in Division IV? Well, the way they're going to do it is Ascension Catholic is the #1 team ranked in the power seedings for the select schools, and Southern Lab will have the opportunity to prove their worth this week on Friday, and I think you're going to see the firepower that we knew has been there. It's just because of the hurdles they've had, it's taken them a while to get there.
So what I'm hearing is you're predicting another 80 points in back-to-back weeks here for the Kittens, right?
I don't know about 80, but they have a lot of firepower, and it's going to be a tough matchup for Ascension Catholic. I look for Southern Lab to win this one.
Let's talk about the Parkview Baptist Eagles taking on Plaquemine. I think most people from the outside see the names on the jerseys, and they see Plaquemine, a lot of athletes, a lot of guys that have gone to LSU. Todd Harris, obviously, this past year. So you got a lot of athletes on one side and a program that's been there, done that, always deep in the playoffs. Really more of a system team is what people see from the outside. What do you see?
Well, Nelson Jenkins for Plaquemine, another guy, he's committed to LSU as well, since you mentioned Todd Harris. But when I talked to Coach Estefano about Parkview, he said simply, they're still Parkview, alluding to exactly what you mean. They are very disciplined, they're well coached, and they're going to be tough to beat. Coach Estefano said you got to look out for hot-out plays, you got to look out for everything, because that's how good the offensive coordinator of Parkview, Scott Dietrich, is he's going to throw everything at Plaquemine. You're going to have really two contrasting styles, but it's going to boil down to who can stop the run and who can run the football.
Once again, in high school football, that's what it boils down to.
And it seems so cliche, but it's really the truth.
Yeah. And the Zachary Broncos at home taking on Denham Springs. It's so hard when you've got a guy like Tyree who plays every side of the ball, and you're talking about special teams is really what I'm kind of focusing on. Does that put more pressure on you as a coach to maybe think about it going for it on 4th down when you're near midfield, maybe when you wouldn't, or situational kicks? That's putting a lot of pressure on your punter and your special teams unit.
I think more special teams than anything, because you threaten the punter with his life if he kicks it to him, or you give the guy that's kicking the ball if it's on kickoffs. You can't. Why give the guy an opportunity to beat you? And so you want to try to keep it away, and it does put more pressure on you because you have to work on it more that week. And anytime you have to work more on something other than, offense or defense, even though special teams are now the third part of the game,
Yep.
it's being more emphasized. It does make a difference to have a guy like that.
Do you just kick it out of bounds on kickoffs? I mean, how would you even approach this as a coach? I know these are the types of athletes that just scare you to death and keep you up at night.
You know, I'm going to go back to Parkview. Parkview always keeps you on your toes. Dave Semino, who's now the head coach at Catholic Point Capee, was their special teams coach at one time, and he did a phenomenal job of doing different things on the kickoff, pooch kicks,
Yep.
and that type of time and detail makes it difficult. And I think depending on the type of return and depending on who else is back there determines whether you're going to squib it, whether you're going to try to, you know, kick. Maybe that's the beauty of having somebody in National Federation high schools, which is the rules they play here. If you kick it in the end zone, they ain't got no shot of returning it.
Your official prediction, Zachary taking on Denham Springs.
Zachary?
That's your high school predictions right here on Fox 44.